Alright guys, let's go over today's three trades. I only called one of them on Discord. Also, just to preface things, I did not trade today. I traded on my paper account, not my prop firm account, for a lot of reasons. One, it's a Monday. Two, it's a no news Monday. Three, it's FOMC on Wednesday. And four, I don't trade Mondays anyway. So let's go ahead and just start with that. Just start with that as as a as an inherent thing. What I do want us to look at is starting on the monthly. This is the daily time frame, but we're looking at a monthly XAMD. So we were bullish, completely bullish in here, and then we had X, we accumulated, now we're manipulating this buy side liquidity. If I had to guess, we are going to have a bearish week, and we are going to come down and take out the sell side liquidity, which is the reason it is currently marked out. That is why that's marked out, as you can probably guess. Next, we're going to go to the 4 hour, and we're going to look at the week. I have a lot of reasons to look at the week, but one of them being that I want to look at. I need to get rid of just all of these fucking drawings. It's too much. Okay, looking at so we've looked at the monthly. We think this week is going to be bearish and next week is going to be bearish. Now we can look at. I guess there's not really a whole lot to look at for the actual weekly so far. But so far we have I would like to say this is continuation, and X can be reversal or expansion. So I would like to think this is expansion with a large new week opening gap and an extension to the upside. That would be my first instinct kind of setup. But what we should look at beyond that is then dropping down to like the 15-minute, and we can go ahead and break the day into quarters. We have our 1800, our midnight. We have our 6 a.m. We have our noon, and then we have our 1800 of the following day. Okay, sweet. So looking at it, I would then like to pose the exact same conclusion for the weekly as we did for the daily, or as for the daily as we did for the weekly, and say that this is X being expansion or reversal. If you guys are familiar with Day's quarter theory, he says that X is either reversal or expansion. So I'd like to say this is expansion with a large new week opening gap. This is accumulation. This would be manipulation of a high, and then distribution. But we didn't do shit today, probably because it's a Monday for the millionth fucking time. Okay. Now, going on to the 1 minute, let's go ahead and pull up my entries. It was a whole mess. There's a reason. There is a very strong reason why I do not trade Mondays and why I only traded paper today. So we had a lack of manipulation, but I was like, well, if we get the 1 minute change in state of delivery, I'll enter, which was me being hopeful and slightly stupid. So I entered, but it lagged. So I was like, oh, maybe it didn't get my entry. So I entered again. So I entered twice. And then I exited on a position there. So I made like $10 there. And then I got stopped out when it came back up here because I was like, this is stupid. It's going to retrace all the way to this high. I should just wait for manipulation of this buy side liquidity. So I just stopped myself out of the trade at a loss. And then I entered here because then we had another change of state of delivery. I was like, wow, well, with another 1 minute change of state of delivery, I have to enter, right? No, I did not have to enter. And then I got stopped out once we took out that high. No, this high. I was moving my stop down as we started taking out these lows, and I got stopped out right there for another loss. And then, and only then, did we finally get manipulation. Then we got the manipulation and the SMT of this very high time frame buy side liquidity, which is this stuff from like days ago, which I marked out earlier. And then we have a little change state of delivery right there, which is what I was so excited about. I was like, oh my God, the change, look. So excited, super awesome. And it was right next to a quarter. I was like, wow, this is going to be great. And then I realized that I was stupid and that the daily 4 hour and 1 hour, in this case, the 1 hour is bearish. But at this point in time, if we just take a little trip back to this morning, okay, the daily was not bearish. The daily was bullish. It's just not loading because of a high time frame. What are you talking about? Yeah, there we go. See, just needed that high time frame load. It's just saying the daily is bearish because it's having a hard time calling on that high. But all of our time frames were bearish. It was hard. It was hard not to I should have just seen that realistically. I should have just been like, oh my God, they're all bullish, so I should only take longs. But no, I was dense, so didn't do that. That was my thought process for all of those entries. The only entry that was actually reasonable, and I don't think there actually was one if you really look at it, because I trade 4 hour PO3, and there is a 4 hour at 10 o'clock, which is right here. I'll make it dotted so it's easy to distinguish. And then let's go to the 1 minute here. And if we look after this, we should see some kind of high time frame manipulation would be the ideal scenario. And at 10 o'clock, there is no high time frame manipulation, so we have to call that a loss. So realistically, there was really not a whole lot I should have been trading. Just in general, shouldn't have been. Posted a video of me of one of my last trade, which I called out on Discord. But keep in mind, I did mention that I would only be trading paper today because it's stupid to trade on Mondays, in my opinion. So, yeah, and I will be skeptical to trade tomorrow, only if I see a solid setup and there are multiple things aligning. Will I take the trade? And Wednesday, I'm just going to use my little crystal ball here and assume that I'm not going to be trading for two reasons. One, I'm going to be on a little bit of a road trip, so I'm not going to be able to trade even if I want to. Two, it's FOMC in the afternoon, and the mornings are typically shit on FOMC, so no trades. On top of that, I don't really have a whole lot. Thursday, I think Thursday will be a great day of the week. That's going to be our distribution stage of the week, and I am excited. Manipulation and distribution are the best days of the week. Unfortunately, manipulation is Wednesday, so that sucks. But is what it is. And Friday is Juneteenth, so that's not even a question of what's going to be happening. Nothing's happening that day. Oh, but I did update the silver bullet indicator over here. So this whole thing is updated. I made a video on it. It's pinned on X. You can go look at it. I have special settings for the whole thing, just like baseline settings. And go get your free trials. There's a 3-day free trial for both the QT bundle and the SMT, not the SMT, the SMC bundle. Also, I am thinking about adding this SMT indicator that I made one moment while I put it on. This. I made this indicator, which I'm still working on some of the kinks, but I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I like it. I'm a big fan. Tells you what the SMT is, whether it's a 22-minute SMT, so a micro session SMT, or a 90-minute SMT, 6-hour SMT, things of that variety. And then it also tells you if it's bullish or bearish, and then with what indice it's with, whether it's YM or NQ or yes. So yeah, enjoy, and I will see you all on the next one. Have a good one, guys.